Kevin, you're a proponent of getting close to nature. Well, what are you seeing more of that's concerning you a bit?
Yeah, the good thing is there's lots more people going out there. That's a great thing. The one thing that's concerning me is a lot of them don't know what they're doing.
That's a problem.
Well, it is a problem. It's almost like in today's society, they think it's in their Canadian DNA to hop in a canoe and go paddling and everything will be fine. And it's not. It takes years to be skilled out there. And yeah, it's concerning me. It really is. And also, the people aren't going out for long enough to be skilled. I mean, the average trip now is one night. One night in the interior. It used to be 10 days, used to be a month. Now it's one night.
It can be kind of funny watching these people who think that all you got to do is sling the canoe up on the roof rack and away with you. But it is risky behaviour.
It really is risky. It's scary at times. I mean, I do see some... I think it boils down to not really safety in one sense, but lack of skill set and ethics, and then the safety thing falls apart. So they just don't know what they're doing and also don't care what they're doing at times as well. Like last year, this is a bizarre story, but I met some people on the portage in Algonquin Park, and they were leaving gear behind. The one man was going to the bathroom on the portage, and I'm thinking, what are they doing? But they weren't malicious and evil people. They just didn't have a clue. They weren't supposed to do that. And I saw another family carrying jugs of water through Algonquin Park. Like, you're surrounded by water. Why would you bring jugs of water? And again, I'm not knocking those people. I just wondered why they thought that they could do that.
There's also a risk, you think, of people maybe not venturing out enough.
That's a huge concern. It comes down to, that's my main concern, is that if the people are going out don't have the skill set, they're going to have a bad trip, they're going to have an unsafe trip, they're going to hear about really dangerous trips, people dying out there, they're going to say, well, why do I go out? Why bother? And a good example is the Toronto School, for example. They, for every year, went and took the kids to camp every spring. They declined this year for two reasons, and really bad reasons. One was because the liability, or what they thought was it was too dangerous, and it's not. And the other was the kids didn't want to go. They wanted to go to Canada's Wonderland. So instead of going to camp that they've done for years, they went to Canada's Wonderland. And that's really a worry.
To do it right, to do away with that fear maybe that teachers or responsible adults have of what could happen to the kids if they're out in the wilderness. It might make some difference to them if they knew that there is a person or a body who is responsible for making sure that they go, but that they do it well. Is there somebody with that responsibility?
I mean, there is in schools, for example. How it works in Ontario, or I think all across Canada, is it depends on the individual school and the individual teachers and the principal. If those people are interested in going out and taking youth out, that school will do it. If there's no one in the school that's interested, the kids will go to Canada's Wonderland. But in Canada, or in Ontario, for example, we have, Paddle Canada. It's an organization that will teach you how to canoe, give you the skill set before you go out if you want. ORCA, Ontario Recreational Canoe and Kayak Association, they do the same thing in Ontario specifically. Ontario Parks, in one sense, you would think that they would actually make sure everybody's safe before they go out, but how are they going to do that? I mean, really, how are they? Are they going to give them an exam? Are they going to show them a video before they head out? Are they going to ask them if they're skilled? Of course they're going to say skilled because they're Canadian, right? Yes. So I don't really know the answer to that. It's like, who really is responsible? I think my mother's really strong Scottish, and she sort of summed it up to me the other day, and I said, what happened when I was young, going out and doing all these great adventures and sometimes being a little silly? She goes, well, every time you go out, I'd say, didn't be stupid. And I went, what do you mean? She goes, well, that's what it's all about. It's common sense. Uh-huh. You don't go out in a big lake when it's windy and cold. You wait till the wind dies down and you be safe about it because you are in a remote area.
So you're talking about preparedness, and didn't be stupid, of course, is the ultimate piece of fine advice. But what has to happen to ensure that people are properly prepared for the wilderness?
I think we have to sort of get a mentality around everybody that you should be somewhat skilled before you go out. Because you can say, well, it's the outfitters that should make sure that people are skilled before they rent the canoe. It should be the government that makes sure that they write an exam. And if we do that, we do a boat exam with canoeing, probably people won't go canoeing anymore. We just have to create this view that we, as Canadians, to go out, yes, it's our DNA to actually go out in the wilderness and go on a canoe trip, but we really should know what we're doing first before we do it.
And yet there's a bunch of people, a huge portion of people who do go to the wilderness, who do it because they take it seriously and they know what they're doing. How do they feel about the ones who arrive with their own pails of water?
That's a really good question, I tell you, because some of them are very angry. A lot of them are frustrated. But they also have that main concern I do, is that, well, let's take them by the ear and teach them, or they won't go out. If they don't go out, we can kiss wilderness goodbye. So I think there's a lot more people wanting people like this to join an outdoor club. It's free, it's cheap, to give them the skill set, to get the passion going more, the enthusiasm, and also make sure it's safe. And it's a whole thing now that's going on too, where that survival thing. And nothing against surviving the wilderness. I would have to do that if I did have to, right? But someone asked me the other day, how do you make one of those fires without a match? I said, I don't. I make sure I have 10 lighters in my pack, you know? And it's called bushcraft. It's not survival. I believe in bushcraft, but I don't believe in survival.
What about the dangers that poorly prepared wilderness seekers pose to the wild? So we know that there are dangers in the wilds to people who don't know what they're doing, but if people don't know what they're doing, it could be you're putting your environment essentially in danger.
Yeah, I know some parks people I've talked to were really frustrated with that, because the people will leave the fire going, not knowing that. I mean, they'll think the fire's out, but the fire will go down to the root system of the trees and then will burn for a couple of weeks and then ignite the entire island. They just don't know any better, but they shouldn't do that. Just devastation and litter and bear problems, for example. I had a bear problem last year because someone left garbage on the site and the bear came to eat that garbage, then got used to that. Yeah. And the bear was shot, and that's wrong. I mean, the bear should not be shot. There should be a sign put up saying, nobody go here until this bear is no longer an issue.
And all the time in Canada, it's one of the great things about this country is that you have newcomers and people who want to embrace the great outdoors and embrace the Canadian lifestyle, and so they're really keen to head off into the wilds. What is the most important piece of advice that you'd give to someone who's going into the wilderness and maybe they don't have those years of preparation behind them?
Yeah,
but they want to start.
Yeah, and I think it's fantastic that a lot of new people, especially new Canadians, are going into the wilderness, because a lot of them come from countries that actually they're afraid of actually going to the wilderness, or actually they don't have wilderness, to be quite honest. And but to go out there, if I named a few major ones, lightning is one of the major dangers out there, and it's not bears, it's not cougars, it's actually basically lightning. And what happens with lightning is it usually, about 80% of the time, will hit the tree, go down through the root system and burn you underneath from when you're lying in the tent. So you're lying in the tent waiting for the storm to go away. Of course, that's the worst place to be right then. You're supposed to go outside the tent and go in a low-lying area. And of course, you're not going to do that. It's a major storm out there. So really all you do, get on the thermarest or the mattress you're sleeping on, squat so your body is upwards, and just wait it out. But wait 20 minutes after you hear the last thunder clap, because lightning can travel kilometers away. So when you think it's over, all the statistics show that everybody thinks the storm's over, so they go and look out the lake, boom, they get hit. Hypothermia is the biggest thing. Life jackets. Just go to Canadian Tire and get a good life jacket and wear it. And that's the whole thing, is making sure you wear it. Hypothermia, if you go into the water and you're wearing a PFD or a life jacket, you'll last 30 minutes or more. And that's a long time for you to get rescue. If you don't have one on, 10 minutes or less. And the statistics show it. 97% of the people that actually are drowning out there through hypothermia and things like that aren't wearing a life jacket.
I think I know what I would do if I was heading to the wilderness for the first time, Kevin. I'd go with you. I would wait till you had a free weekend and I'd go with you. You would be my guide and my mentor and my life jacket. I think I'll wait for that. Kevin, thanks indeed for coming in.
Thank you.
Kevin Callan is an outdoors enthusiast who's written all kinds of books on the subject, including The Happy Camper, an essential guide to life outdoors. Get yourselves a copy of that if you're heading off. And for more on Kevin's outdoor adventures, you can check out his Happy Camper website. And you'll find a link to it at ours, cbc.ca/freshair. It's in the Facebook section on the main page. You may have to scroll down a little, but it's there.